Hello everybody, we are back here on the Hunter Call of the Wild. Today we have another episode of the Forgotten Weapons of Call of the Wild, and we're going to be looking at a weapon that might be a little bit controversial in this series, just like the last one. The last episode we did the M1. Today we're going to do another one where there's definitely still some people that use it, but it's definitely not been used as much recently as it used to be, due to a couple different things being added, like the 308 rifle. And the rifle that I'm talking about is, of course, the 303. Now, this rifle actually is a pretty awesome rifle. I do like it quite a bit, but sadly, it has once again been overshadowed by the 308, similar to the M1. This rifle used to be one of my top picks for any 4-8 class animal, but unfortunately, because of the addition of the 308, this rifle is just not quite as competitive as it used to be. It still does a great amount of damage. However, the slow follow-up shots really make it so a lot of people seem to go with the 308. Now, once again, this video is not saying that this gun doesn't get used by anybody. It obviously does. And it's also not saying that it's a bad gun, because it's a great gun. But this series is simply just showing the guns that have been overshadowed in one way or another. Obviously, there's going to be people that still use this over everything else. Not saying that there isn't. But anyway, let's take a look at this rifle and try to get some good kills with it. You know, a big part of this series is trying to show off that these rifles still are very usable, and hoping that some of you will end up using them because of it. So if you guys don't take anything else from this video, I hope that you guys do see the value in this rifle, because it still is a very awesome rifle and definitely still has many purposes in the game, and is still a very strong option in many scenarios. It's definitely the most powerful rifle to take down red deer, though my personal choice has been the 308 recently, just for speed reasons. But this rifle is by far the strongest in the 4-8 class, not counting the 7mm, because that is a single shot. I'm not really comparing it to this rifle. However, it is one of the most powerful rifles that you could possibly use in the 4-8 class range. And because of that, I feel like it really does deserve a little more credit than it gets. Well, if it's going to go straight to us, we might as well take it out. And it would probably help if I was able to actually hit the neck bone, but yeah, that didn't go exactly how I had planned it to. I don't even know if it's going to die in time, and it finally did. Yeah, that was not the smoothest kill that we've ever had. But, you know, at least we got it. It definitely did not go well, though. Whoa! Whoa, what? Wait a second, what? Okay, I didn't even realize it was melanistic. I did not even realize that this was a melanistic female. I am actually kind of glad that I kept on shooting. I was tempted to just stop. I can't believe that that was a melanistic. That's a way to start the day out. Oh my gosh. That's insane, guys. That is absolutely insane. You know, this is the first rare female alligator that I've killed on Mississippi Acres, and it's a melanistic. What are the odds of that? That is amazing. Well, quite the start to the day, I'd say. You know, one of the strange things that I noticed on this server already is I'm only seeing female gators through this stretch. I just saw a male one go into the water, but that's the first male I've seen the entire time being on here. And this is a... That's legendary. Well, that's insane. I am going to hope that this server is not cheated, so whenever we take this thing down, we are going to pay close attention to what the weight is versus what the score is. So yeah, let's take this thing down and see how things are. I mean, I think the server's fine. It's a level 2 host, so I'm assuming that this is just an unhunted server. And considering I'm the first person to check for gators, there's no need zones throughout here. I'm guessing that we're fine. Are we being attacked? That was also very strange. Our dog just barked at seemingly nothing. That was interesting. I honestly don't know what to make of this situation. But we're going to take this thing down, and we will soon know if this is a legit one. I'm assuming it is, just based off of the host level and the fact that this is unhunted. But you never can be too safe on this game with the way multiplayer is nowadays. And I think while we're talking about this, I should probably mention it because I know there's a lot of people that are confused about how I'm able to tell whether or not a server is actually cheated. And one of the biggest reasons, or one of the biggest ways that you can tell, besides there just being trophies around every corner. Obviously, that is a sure sign of a cheated server if you're finding like 20 diamonds on it. However, there are some that make it a little bit more difficult to tell, and one of the ways that I can easily figure out if something is actually cheated is whether or not the weight matches up with the score of it. Like, for example, these gators right here. They always have like a certain minimum weight that can make diamond, and if a trophy seems too far away from that weight versus its score, then that's almost a sure sign of something being a cheated server. For example, if you see a 162.5 max scoring Cape Buffalo, but the weight is like 20 kgs below the max, that's probably going to be a cheated trophy because usually the weight is tied very closely to the score of animals that don't have true racks. Now there is some variation, like I have noticed with the gators, that sometimes you can find quite a few of them that end up being maybe 5 kgs below max but have a max score. So it is a little bit different with the gators, it seems. There is more variation. But if it's such a drastic thing that it doesn't seem like it's even in the proper weight range, then that's usually a sign of something weird going on. And that is just a random fox running at us? Okay, interesting. This is going to be a very interesting stalk because he's currently facing in the wrong direction, so we're going to have to try and alert him to our presence, which is always risky with the gators, because the last thing I want to do is spook it off and then not be able to get it to come back to land. We need to be very careful about this. And there we go, it's now alerted. Let's see if we can get a nice neck shot into it. It's going to be hard, but I think we can do it. We're probably going to prone down real quick because I really don't want to spook this thing off. I have had multiple times a 2 or 3 hour chase because I accidentally spooked the gator that I was after. It's not fun. It's not fun to spook them off. But it looks like he's actually going to cooperate, so we'll just wait for him. Alright, here we go. He is about to pop into our view. This is actually perfect. I can't believe he's actually doing exactly what we need him to. And just like that, we have downed a pretty good-looking level 9 gator. I hope this thing makes diamond. It'd be great if it did. So we're just going to hope that it is going to be a diamond one. Unfortunately, it's not the scale type that I need. Or I guess they're called morphs with gators, but hopefully it's a diamond. It is 501, and the weight looks okay. So it looks like this is a legit gator. That is awesome. You know, that had me worried for a second when we found a melanistic and then a diamond literally like 10 minutes later. But it looks like we're good. Everything looks fine here. This seems to match up properly. So we just got ourselves a beautiful diamond gator at 501.80. Unfortunately, it is the olive type. I do want the dark brown instead, but it's nice to get another diamond gator at least. It's good to see that we are getting some luck today. Sadly, we haven't really been able to show off too much of what the 303 can do because with gators, you just shoot the neck and they pretty much die the same speed with most weapons. So we aren't really showing off too much with it yet, but I think we're going to switch to a different species now. I'll probably finish running this coastline and then we'll end up going and hunting some black bear or possibly some wild hogs if we're able to find some, and maybe some whitetail deer as well. But we'll definitely switch it up and kind of showcase what the 303 can do a little bit better. But obviously, with us seeing this giant level 9, we had to take it down before moving on to anything else. So, with that being said, let's go hunt something else. You know, I'm really hoping that in one of these updates, this bug with the dog will be fixed. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but my dog's, like, invisible. But if I move in a circle, you can see a little outline of it flashing. It's such a strange bug, and it only happens in multiplayer. I've always been curious if it's connection-based or if it's actually a bug with the game. I'm hoping that that's going to get fixed, though, because it is kind of strange. And it was even stranger hearing my dog bark at that gator when I can't even see my dog. Alright, well, we got ourselves a pretty solid whitetail deer right there. Let's go ahead and try to take this thing down with the 303. This will give us a good idea of what the 303 can do, and, well, if you guys have used this before, you already know what's about to happen. Yeah, Whitetail just don't stand a chance against the 303. With it being the highest expansion and penetration in the 4-8 class range, not counting the 7mm, this gun drops everything pretty quickly. Well, let's take a look at this deer right here. This seems to be a pretty solid whitetail at 217.80, and the 303, of course, just easily gets into both of the lungs. Very strong rifle. Absolutely love this thing. For the longest time, this was my go-to rifle. Even over the M1 at times. The only thing that ever made me go away from it was the 303 being, or the 308 being added, because the 308 is a caliber that I have always wanted in game. And because of that, I've just used that rifle ever since, and the fact that it's an AR makes me love it even more. But the 303 has and always will be my second choice when it comes to just raw power, because it is so good. I absolutely love the rifle, but it really needs something else, I think, to make it stand out a little bit more. That way more people will use it. It's very great, but I definitely think there's some things they could do to make even more people want to use this thing. Something like possibly giving it maybe one more class that it can hunt. Classes 4 to 9 would be pretty awesome, and since it is on par with the 7mm, I definitely think that it could fit in that class range. And there is our final deer. Let's go ahead and grab this. We did end up getting the vertebrae, unfortunately, but that does happen from time to time. You know, you can't make every shot perfectly, and unfortunately, we definitely didn't make that one perfectly. Oh my gosh, hello there. Well, we're on a different server now, and that is a level 3 turkey. That's definitely not anything that we can take with our 303. However, we do have the 22 Hornet, which isn't really helping us much here because this thing is just absolutely zooming. I don't even know if we're going to get this. This turkey is absolutely going crazy. If we can manage to hit one of these shots, I'll be very surprised. I will be incredibly surprised if we do. And honestly, it's looking like we're going to have to track it. Well, this has been honestly just such a back and forth hunt. You know, for a video that I wanted to just use the 303 on a bunch of different trophies, it's really not happening. It really is not happening the way that I expected it to. We ended up taking out Gators, which really aren't something that I guess can really show the power of the 303 much. And then we shot a few whitetail, but now we're chasing a turkey. So this has gone nothing like I expected it. Well, my frames have absolutely died, which is a little bit unfortunate because it's going to make it a lot harder to figure out where this turkey is, having to deal with the lagginess as well. So we're just going to hope that we can find it. This has been such a strange video. I really don't even know what to predict will happen next. Well, there he is. That's definitely our turkey, 160 away. Let's just get one into him right now. And one more for good measure. You know, I am really hoping that this thing will be one of the plumage types that I like, because as of recent, I've got nothing but the plumage type that I don't really prefer on these eastern turkeys. I really want one of the bronze ones. But I keep getting the other ones that aren't nearly as beautiful. And this guy, actually, I can't quite tell. I don't know if this is one of the ones that I like or not. No, this is just the brown, but that is it's a max score. Oh my gosh. That is a max score. Max weight wild turkey. I don't even know what to say anymore. Today has been one of the most insane hunts that we have ever been on. This is just absolutely absurd. Well, I think it is time to go search the rest of the server and see if there's anything else crazy like this. Because that's huge. A maximum score, max weight turkey. Okay, yeah, it looks like that turkey was indeed a modded one. So we're gonna go ahead and delete that. You know, I thought something was a little bit fishy when I was picking up max weight rabbit tracks left and right, and then ended up finding a max scoring turkey. But I really wasn't sure because it is pretty common to get max scoring turkeys. They're not the hardest max score to find, but when you look around a lake and every single whitetail is a giant diamond like this, yeah, that's a sure sign of a cheated server. So we're gonna leave, and I'm gonna show myself deleting that turkey so you guys know that I didn't keep it. I love how virtually every time I try to do a video like this, it ends up turning into something completely different, and this one seems to have turned into a lesson on how to figure out if the server you're playing on is a modded server. Because that first one we were able to decide that it was not a cheated server, and then this last one, it was pretty clear that it was a cheated server, and because of that, we are now going to go in our trophy manager, and we are going to delete that turkey, because I'm not going to keep a cheated trophy. However, these two alligators, they were as legit as I could possibly figure out just from looking at everything on the server. These two seem to be perfectly fine. They were from a different server, as I've said, and everything else on that server looked fine. The weights and the scores matched up, and that is how you can figure out if it is going to be a legit server or not, because typically, if it's not just spawning diamonds everywhere, like we saw on that last server, typically they will be a little bit off on the weights. And these ones were perfect on the weights. They're right where they should be. So we should be perfectly fine. Now, I don't exactly know where I'm going to put any of these, because I'm really running out of room in this lodge. And to be honest, they might not even make it into the main one, because we do have better gators. And I believe we already have a Melanistic in our multi-mount regardless that is a male, so I think we'll just keep that. I think, well, actually, we can replace this gator right here, because this actually is a little bit lower scoring. So we did actually get a new addition to our main trophy lodge here, which is nice. And I forgot to, I forgot to put this guy back up, so we'll get him back on the wall. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you guys think that it's that easy to determine a cheated server? Do you think there's more to it than just looking at the weight and the score, or looking at the amount of max levels? Also, let me know what you think of the 303 and whether or not you like that rifle or not and think that it deserves to be used more, and I will try to respond to as many of the comments as I can. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!